2 months of farming Affinity Breaker sets to complete the 2 allures that I wanted to test for you guys against the Scarab King floor 100 on the hard Doom Tower. It is finally complete. I even have a new record. I'm going to share that with you guys in today's video, so let's jump right in. Before we get to the champions and the previous runs I've done and this new record, I quickly want to go over the run itself. We have the same team I use for floor 50. We do have the 2 allures in Affinity Breaker sets, which is mainly for the Scarab King itself, so this is our only turn meter control. We have Fenax and Septimus right there to annihilate the waves, but also deal a ton of damage against the Scarab King. With Lodric in a shield set and his shield buff, we're usually in no danger of dying, even though we do take a lot of damage from the War Chiefs. On the second wave, sometimes you will get hit from these Harvest Jacks. It can potentially be faster as well. I've had as low as like 23 seconds for both waves, but also as high as this one right here. So this is not my fastest run, but the concept is basically the same. The crucial thing about my team here is that Fenax has to land decreased defense and decreased speed right there from his A3. So you need a lot of accuracy to do this, but you also need a whole lot of offensive stats on this champion if you want to make this faster. And because of that, I usually end up wiping pretty early because it never really applies. My accuracy is just too low. We'll cover that in a second. But overall, this is it. So 2 allures in Affinity Breaker sets can work if you have the decreased speed debuff on, and if you only rely on Fenax, that can be a problem. Obviously, if you have decreased defense right off the bat, the run is going to be a lot faster. Every now and then, your 2 allures will go into trying to do their A2 or A3, which you kind of don't want. Eventually, perhaps with the AI control that we'll be able to do, then you could potentially just say always do your A1. This might increase the success rate if you're going to do something similar to this. So this is basically it, and then it goes on and on and on and on for 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Now let's go check out the champions. Starting with Septimus, which as you can see is in a destroy set. Let's quickly go over these pieces. Speed, crit rate, crit damage, a divine crit piece here with some divine crit boots, speed boots. We do have a beautiful attack percent chest, and we have some crit damage gloves. We do have 2 refresh accessories. All 3 of them would be even better to get your holy sword to come back a little bit more often. This is attack, this one is crit damage, not even finish, and this is attack here as well. All the skills are done. This is great for the waves. This is obviously for the boss, holy sword, and then for the masteries we have Helm Smasher for the tier 6, a pretty typical nuke build. Then let's do Fenax, the other damage dealer, also in a destroy set. Let's quickly go over these pieces. Again, sort of like crit rate, attack, crit damage, anything that is going to power up this guy, but you also need to stack a whole lot of accuracy. This is what is really hard on this champion. We have an attack percent chest piece, crit damage gloves, flat attack ring, crit damage amulet, and of course an accuracy banner, but I am too low. 280 accuracy is not enough. You would need about 330. The speed is all right, crit rate perfect, crit damage could always be higher, and attack could also be higher so that you would deal more damage faster. All the skills are done. We're not too concerned about the A2 and A1. It's all about the A3 for the boss, and it's only a 60% chance of placing the decreased defense and the decreased speed. If this were a 100% chance, this would be fantastic, but sadly it is not. We have Helm Smasher for the tier 6, and down here into the support tree for more accuracy, but obviously I would suggest that you go for Sniper instead of Master Hexer. Then we have our Lodric Falconheart. So this guy was pretty clutch. You could use Metal Shaper, but I like Lodric over Metal Shaper because you get a bigger shield and that can help you survive those waves, but it is not impossible with Metal Shaper. Anyway, here are the individual pieces, basically speed, defense, HP. Some accuracy on this guy could also maybe help a little bit, although you don't really care about his debuffs for specifically this boss. And as you can see, my pieces are not even fully maxed out because it works anyway. We've got defense here, HP, and then HP for the banner. All the skills are done on this champion. Decreased attack will not matter because you don't intend to get hit at all. It's all about this skill. That's it. This is the only reason for now that I built Lodric Falconheart. He's also pretty good in faction wars, but this is the main reason I had built him. We do have War Master for the tier 6, and then into lasting gifts for the support tree, and Master Hexer again for that decreased attack. And then finally, the two allures, which were actually the purpose of this video, to see if after all this work, 2 months of farming Affinity Breaker pieces to get 2 sets working, was it worth it, right? So one of them is completely maxed out. Skills are not done though, but the masteries are. The second one has only basically the crit rate mastery. Skills are also not done, but she's also in an Affinity Breaker set, right? So the stats are very similar. Perhaps there's even a little bit too much accuracy on one of them. Above 230 speed, at least 100% crit rate, and well over 350 accuracy on both of them. I think this is the crucial thing that you should focus on. Same thing with this one right here, and 221 speed, maybe a little bit too slow. Of course, more would help, but also maybe a little bit too much accuracy. So again, it's hard to balance out these pieces because I don't have a ton of them to work with for the time being. I literally just got like the last piece of the puzzle last week, all right? And so here are the individual pieces real quick. We do have flat defense, and accuracy banner, of course. And then for the second one, all the same thing here: speed, crit rate. Crit damage can help as well. If you want to get giant slayers, they're going to deal a little bit more damage, but that's not what you bring them in there for. But accuracy chest pieces and accuracy banners are pretty much a must if you want to reach these stats and these speeds, while not focusing obviously on offensive stats. All right, so there you have it. So here's what I'm going to say real quick about the Affinity Breaker sets. As it stands, I think they're not good enough. In my opinion, this should be closer to 50%, if not 60% chance to change the weak hit into a critical hit. Or they could change it into a 2-piece set, and that each 2-piece will give you, let's say, 15%, right, chance to change the weak hit into a critical hit, and let's say 10% crit damage. And then if you line up 6 pieces, you would reach about, let's say, 45%, 50%, something in that range. I think it would make this set a whole lot better, because I literally farmed for 2 months to get something that isn't exactly a game changer, but you would think from the Doom Tower it should sort of be like really good gear. Alright, now let's quickly go over my previous builds to see how this has evolved over time. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that if you guys go on my YouTube channel and you punch in Scarab King or something, you should be able to see basically all the build videos I've done so far, right? So no Lego speed record, fast auto Scarab King, basically all of them, I've showcased them in some way or form. So hopefully this will help you guys build something that is a little bit faster. So this team right here had High Katoon, 4-turn meter control, Allure, Cold Heart, Armiger, and Metal Shaper. Then we started trying to work on this concept of 2 allures. We had to keep the Armiger because I did not have the Affinity Breaker sets at that time, but we brought in Fenax to start dealing a lot of damage. Still, this was not necessarily as fast as my previous build, but then this month I was finally able to start testing my allures. I only had 1 Affinity Breaker set at that point, and now I finally finished, as of today, the second one, but we had finally our Fenax and Septimus to deal even more damage, and our Lodric. So as you saw today, we got a time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. However, it's not the fastest I've gotten so far. I do have a slightly faster time when everything lines up, right? When basically the RNG is in my favor, and I would assume this can even be faster. If I had more accuracy on Fenax, and if I had 100% crit rate on Septimus, even more damage on these 2 champions, I think this would be faster. So 2 minutes and 8 seconds is currently my fastest time ever. It's still unfortunately not a record for global ranking, but we're getting pretty close, guys. We are getting pretty close. But look right here, right? This is what I mean. You don't necessarily need to work with Septimus. I used something similar myself a while ago. If you have the right stats and like your Cold Heart and your Armigers are really well geared, you can get away still with no legendaries in a really fast time. But still, hopefully this has helped you guys take on the Scarab King, because I do know a lot of you struggle with this still. And then here's a quick snapshot of the Great Hall, because it does affect my stats. There you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.